If you want to learn and master separation of variables or mas kilala bilang variable separable in differential equations, then this video is for you. We are going to solve a lot of problems. So I think we have about 10 problems here na sasagutan natin para ma-master ninyo yung variable separable in differential equations. Okay, so we are going to explain our solutions step by step. Okay, so in order to really or clearly explain every step dito sa ating mga solution, ano? So we know that this is not easy, we know that this is challenging. So we try to provide you the essential problems na nakita namin na makakatulong talaga sa pag-aaral ninyo. So we believe that if you answer these 10 problems in variable separable problems sa differential equation, you will be able to answer most of the problems na may encounter ninyo sa inyong mga exams, provided that you are really experienced or really practice a lot in your integral calculus, because we are going to guide you in every step dito sa ating mga problems, ano? So as you can see, medyo mahaba yung ating solution, ano? Because hindi madali naman talaga itong mga sinolve nating mga problems dito. And this is, I think, about 1 hour and video, no? More or less. Kahit medyo mahaba siya, at least talagang matututunan nyo naman kung paano sinusolve yung mga variable separable problems. So, hindi na natin patatagalin pa. Let us now jump to our solution. Okay, so first, I would like you to consider this differential equation in here. Well, each part of this equation has a definite numerical interpretation. But for convenience, they are rewriting this equation by separating itong ating dy and dx. And that can be done by multiplying itong ating terms by dx. Okay, so let me write that here. We can multiply all of our terms here by dx. Okay, and if you do that, we will have here mxy dx plus n xy dy is equal to 0. Okay, so by multiplying dx sa lahat ng ating terms, ito yung ating makukuha. And as you can see, we separated itong ating dx and dy. Now, how do we define variable separable or yung separation of variables? When all terms containing x and y must be grouped with dx and dy respectively. If it can be solved after grouping them by dx or dy, then the differential equation is said to be a variable separable. Okay, so nakikita natin dito yung ating m is a function of x and y and our n is a function of x and y. So, if we can separate itong ating function of x with dx and yung function of y dito sa ating dy, and we can able to solve our differential equation, then we call that a variable separable. Well, in that case, let's say we have our first function here, which is a function of x, and we separated that with dx, and then we have our second function here, which is a function of y, and it is separated with dy, and this is equal to 0. So, as you can see, pinagsama natin lahat ng merong function ng x with dx, and then sineparate naman natin itong function of y sa ating dy, no? So, magkakasama yung mga y and dy, magkakasama yung mga x sa dx. So, basically, yan yung gagawin natin dito sa separation of variables. Pagsasama-samahin natin lahat ng x kasama ang dx, at lahat naman ng y kasama ng dy. So, if it can be solved by merely separating our x and y, then we call that a variable separable. So, meron tayong dalawang klase ng solution na may encounter when we are doing variable separable. And we will be encountering this a lot kahit sa mga susunod pa nating mga topics. Okay, so una, meron tayong tinatawag na general solution. So, a general solution is a solution that contains arbitrary constants. However, the arbitrary constant is not yet defined. Okay, so natutunan na natin to sa ating previous lessons, yung mga arbitrary constants natin, ano? So, let's say we are solving for our differential equation, ano? And then we will be having a general solution. So in order to solve our differential equation, we're going to integrate itong ating mga terms. So let's say I did that here. So the integral of f1x dx plus the integral of f2y dy will be equal to our constant c, no? So, alam na natin ito sa ating integral calculus. We are always having c for indefinite integrals. Okay, so at this point, we do not know the value of c. So, that is why in some solution, you can actually represent this in different way. Sometimes makikita ninyo yung arbitrary constant natin dito. After solving for our differential equation will be ln c. No? So, it can be expressed in a different way at makikita ninyo yan mamaya sa ating mga solutions. Okay, so dito meron tayong arbitrary constant. Ano naman meron tayo dito sa particular solution? It is a solution that no longer contains arbitrary constant. Hence, the arbitrary constants are defined. So dito naman wala tayong arbitrary constant kasi we are going to solve for the value of our arbitrary constant. And we already solved a lot of problems in our previous lecture, no, yung elimination of arbitrary constant. So you are already aware sa ating magiging procedure, but we are going to apply that dito sa ating mga susunod nating mga problems. So medyo marami tayong sasagutan ngayon, kaya I would suggest to have your pen and your paper with you para masabayan ninyo yung aking pagsosolve. Okay? So let us have our first example. So for our example number 1, let's say we have y prime is equal to negative y over x minus 3. Okay? So nakuha ko tong problem na to sa libro na sinulat ni Lehman-Kells, no? So this is the elementary differential equation, Kells 6th edition. Okay? So alam natin that y prime is equal to dy over dx. Okay, so we have dy over dx is equal to negative y over x minus 3. So, basically, ito yung ating given dito, no? Okay, so, in solving for variable separable, pagsasama-samahin natin lahat ng y sa dy and lahat ng x isasama natin sa dx. So, all we have to do is to transpose, no? So, we have our dy dito sa left side ng ating equation. Meron tayong y dito sa right side. So, I'm just going to transpose that dito sa left side. So, I'm going to have dy over y is equal to our dx. I'm going to transpose dito sa right side. So, I will have dx. So, I have negative sign. So, negative dx over x minus 3. Alright, so our next step is to take the integral of our terms. Okay? So, what is the integral of dy over y? We have ln y, which is equal to the derivative of dx over x minus 3. So, we will have here the derivative of x minus 3, which is equal to dx. Okay? So, therefore, we will have here also negative ln x minus 3. Okay, and katulad nung sinabi ko kanina, we have an indefinite integral here. So, we will have plus c in here. Okay, so, on this first problem, I'm just going to show you yung sinasabi ko kanina that our arbitrary constant here can be expressed in a lot of ways, no? So, as you can see, sa katulad nung ginagawa natin sa integral calculus, we are just writing plus c in here. But this represents any constant, ano? So, as long as it will be a constant, so it doesn't matter kahit i-express mo siya in logarithmic form. Okay, so on this case, since nakikita natin that our first term is in ln y, and our second term here is also expressed in ln, so therefore, I could also express itong ating arbitrary constant in logarithmic form. Okay, so let me remove our c in here. Okay, and then I'm going to write ln c instead. So, it doesn't matter. It's still a constant. Alright? So, para mas mapadali rin yung ating solution, I'm going to transpose itong negative ln x minus 3 sa left side ng ating equation. So, I will have ln y plus ln x minus 3, okay, is equal to ln c. Okay? So now, using our properties of logarithm, we know that this is also equal to ln, which is y times x minus 3, okay, and this is equal to ln c. Okay, so since these are all in logarithmic form, we're just going to apply yung mga properties in logarithm na natutunan natin. So this will be e ln okay, y times x minus 3. This is just to simplify yung ating mga given dito sa ating equations. So we have ln c. So having this, our e and ln here can be removed, Yan yung isa sa mga properties ng ating logarithm. So, kung medyo nalilito kayo sa properties ng logarithms, I would suggest to review yung mga na-post na nating mga lecture about the properties of logarithm. Okay, so finally, we will have here y x minus 3 is equal to c. Okay, we basically just applied yung properties of logarithm in solving our problem in here. So this is our final answer for our first problem. Okay, so now let's go to our second problem. Okay, so for our second problem, we have y prime is equal to xy squared. Okay, so again, we know that y prime is equal to dy over dx. So this is equal to xy squared. Okay, so katulad nung ginawa natin kanina, we're going to separate itong ating y and x. We're going to put lahat ng ating y sa dy at lahat ng ating x kasama yung ating dx. So doing that, we will have dy over y squared is equal to x dx. Okay, so now we need to integrate both sides of our equation. So we're going to integrate this and we're going to integrate this one. Okay? But I'm going to simplify this para mas madali natin siyang masolve. I'm going to have here y to the negative 2 dy is equal to the integral of x dx. Okay? So what is the integral of y to the negative 2 dy? Okay, so we will have y to the negative 1 over negative 1, which is equal to the integral of x dx, which is x squared over 2. Then we have plus c. So basically, we have here negative 1 over y is equal to x squared over 2 plus c. Right, so I would like to remove itong ating denominator na 2 dito sa ating equation. So I will multiply itong ating equation by 2. Okay, so I will have negative 2 over y is equal to x squared plus 2c. Okay, but this is just a constant, Minultiply lang natin sa 2 yung ating arbitrary constant. So I could replace this as c1. Which is actually equal to 2c, So, I just did it para mas mapadali yung ating mga computations. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this and then I'm going to use c1 instead because we know that c1 is equal to 2 times c. Okay, yung ginawa natin dito. Okay, so now, aalisin ko lang to sa denominators. I'm going to transpose this to the right side of the equation. So, I will have negative 2 is equal to x squared plus c1 times y. Okay, so normally, yung mga prof natin, ang gusto nilang nakikita is yung asing equation is equal to 0. So, we could actually write this as x squared plus c1 times y plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so this is our answer for our second problem. Okay? So, now, punta na tayo para sa ating third problem. Okay, so we have our problem number 3. So, this problem naman, kinuha natin sa libro ni Rainville. So, yung elementary differential equations written by Earl D. Rainville. Okay, so we have 1 minus y prime is equal to x squared. Okay? Okay, so alam natin that y prime is equal to dy over dx. Okay, so the same for variable separable. Pagsasamahin lang natin lahat ng x natin with dx and lahat ng y with dy. So, I'm just going to transpose our dx sa right side ng ating equation. So, I will have 1 minus y dy is equal to x squared dx. So, already, nakaseparate na yung ating y and x, ano? Okay, so now, we can integrate itong ating mga terms. Okay, so doing that, we will have 1 minus y squared over 2 is equal to x cubed over 3 plus c. Alright, so I'm going to simplify our equation here, ano, by changing itong ating nasa right side ng equation. So, I will have 1 minus y squared over 2 is equal to x cubed plus 3c over 3. No? So, sinimplify lang natin itong ating fraction sa right side ng equation. But, our 3 is an arbitrary constant anyway. Itong c natin, no, is an arbitrary constant anyway. So, kahit i-multiply mo siya sa 3, it will still be an arbitrary constant. So, I could just replace itong ating 3c by our new arbitrary constant, which is, let's say, c1. Ano? So, let me use c1 instead, where c1 is equal to 3 times c. Okay? So, it is the same, no? Pareho lang because we're just talking about an unknown constant in here. Okay, so now I'm going to transpose itong 2 sa right side ng equation at itong 3 sa left side ng equation natin in order to remove itong ating mga denominator. So, I will have 3 times 1 minus y squared is equal to 2 times x cubed plus c1. Okay, now I'm going to simplify further by expanding itong ating mga polynomials here. So, I will have 3 times 1 minus y squared will be 1 times 1 will be 1. Minus y plus minus y will be minus 2y. Then plus y times y will be y squared. Okay? So, in-expand lang natin itong 1 minus y squared. Because this is just a binomial natin. So, this will be equal to 2x cubed plus 2c1. So, I'm just going to name this as c2, where c2 is equal to 2 times c1. So, kung makikita ninyo, gumamit na ako ng tatlong constant, no? So, first we have constant c, and then constant c1, which is 3 times c, and then constant 2, okay, yung third natin, will be c2, which is equal to 2 times c1. So, there's no issue with that, because katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, we are just talking still an unknown arbitrary constant. Okay, so this is how to deal with this constant para hindi kayo malito. Kaysa meron kayo ditong palipat-lipat na mga values like 2 times c or 6 times c, no? So, you can do it like this. So, we don't have an issue with that. Okay? So, I'm going to distribute itong 3 sa lahat ng term natin dito. So, I will have 3 times 1 will be 3, minus 3 times 2 will be 6y, okay, plus 3y squared is equal to 2x cubed plus c2. Okay, so to simplify para hindi masyadong magulo yung ating mga equation dito, we're going to put everything dito sa left side ng ating equation. So I will have 3y squared. Okay, then I'm going to transpose this 2x cubed sa left side ng equation. So I will have negative 2x cubed, then minus 6y. Okay, then I will have I'm just going to transpose itong 3 sa right side ng equation. So, I will have c2 minus 3. So, still, this is just an arbitrary constant. So, I could just write this as 3y squared minus 2x cubed minus 6y is equal to c3. Okay, where c3 is equal to c2 minus 3. Okay? So, this is our final answer dito sa ating third problem. Okay, so let's go to our fourth problem. Okay, para mas marami tayong masagutan, ano? So, we're going now to the fourth problem. And we have y prime is equal to 2y over x. Okay, so we know that y prime is dy over dx. This is equal to 2y over x. So, pagsasama-samahin natin yung x and y papunta sa dy. Ano? So, I will have dy over 2y is equal to dx over x. Okay? So, now I'm going to integrate itong ating mga terms. Okay? So, I will have 1/2 ln of y is equal to ln of x plus c. Well, of course, pwede nyong gawin yung katulad ng ginawa natin sa first problem natin, ano? So, we wrote our c as ln x, you know? But, I'm going to show you a different approach, and it's okay kahit gumamit ka rin dito ng ln, that will not be a problem because this is just an arbitrary constant, ano? Okay, so now, I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to multiply lahat ng ating terms by 2 para mawala itong denominator natin dito. So, I will have ln y is equal to 2 ln x plus c1, okay, where c1 is equal to 2c. Okay, so yan yung mga ginagawa natin kanina, nag-a-assign tayo ng bagong value ng ating arbitrary constant. Okay, so now I'm going to transpose itong 2 ln x sa left side ng equation. I will have ln y minus 2 ln x is equal to c1. Okay, so now I'm going to simplify itong 2 ln x natin using our properties of logarithm. So I will have ln y minus ln x squared is equal to c1. Okay, so another property ng ating logarithm is that we can combine this subtraction of logarithm in here. Okay, so I will have ln y over x squared is equal to c1. Okay, so now, another property of logarithm, I'm going to raise this to e, so I will have ln y over x squared is equal to e to the c1, okay? So, this will be cancelled, no? Itong ating e to the ln, and we already know that sa ating properties of logarithm. So, therefore, I will have here y over x squared is equal to, now, I don't want to write it like this. So, I'm going to write this as c2. Okay, where c2 is equal to e to the c1 para mas madali yung ating pag-analyze ng ating equation. Okay, simplifying this further, I will have y is equal to c2x squared. Okay, so this is our final answer dito sa ating question number 4. Okay, so now let's go to problem number 5, and this time we're going to use trigonometric function, ano? So let's say our given is this one. I have cosine x, cosine y dx plus sin x sin y dy is equal to 0, and you can also find this problem sa book ni Rainville, no? Yung Elementary Differential Equations by Earl Rainville. Okay? So, pagsama-samahin natin yung may mga x kasama yung ating dx. So, I will have cosine x, then this sin x here, I will have sin x dx, then plus, I will have sin y dy in here over our cosine y here. Okay, and this is equal to 0. Okay, so now, we're going to integrate itong ating mga terms. Okay, so hindi na natin inelaborate, no, para mas makatipid tayo sa space, ano. But what we actually did is we divided itong ating mga terms by 1 over sine and 1 over cosine y. Okay, so dinivide natin siya by 1 over sine x and 1 over cosine y. So, if you do that, ito yung may iwan sa atin. Cosine x over sine x dx and sine y dy over cosine y. Okay? So, there are different ways to solve this differential equation, ano? But, what we're going to do here is just to take the derivative of our denominator sine x. And the derivative of our denominator sine x is equal to cosine x, which is already our numerator here. So therefore, the integral of cosine x over sine x is equal to ln sine x. Okay? And then the derivative of sine y over cosine y dy. Ano ba yung derivative ng cosine y? The derivative of cosine y is negative sine y. But we have positive here. So we're going to multiply this by negative 1 over negative 1. Kaya magiging unit natin dito or ang operator natin will be subtraction. So I will have minus ln cosine y. Okay? And this will be equal to c. Okay? So we just did integration here. So now, nandito na tayo sa differential equation. So medyo hindi na natin ini-elaborate itong mga integral natin dito because we are assuming that you already learned this sa inyong integral calculus course, okay? So, kung medyo nalilito kayo dyan, I would like you to review yung mga rules or yung mga solutions natin sa integral calculus. Alright, so now we're going to simplify this, with the rule or properties of logarithm. We know that we can combine these two, yung subtraction of logarithm. So I will have here ln, then we have sine x over cosine y will be equal to c. Right? So I'm going to use another property of logarithm. I will have e to the ln sine x over cosine y is equal to e to the c. Okay? So now I will let c1 is equal to e to the c. Okay? In order to express this ng mas madaling paraan. So this will be cancelled, yung ating e to the ln. So we know na ang may iwan sa atin dito is sine x over cosine y is equal to c1. Okay? So we can just rewrite this para mas mapasimplify yung ating answer into sine x is equal to c1 cosine y. Okay, so kung gusto mo pang ang maiwan sa atin is equal to 0 yung right side ng equation because some of our professor require that. So we can have sine x minus c1 cosine y is equal to 0. Okay, so basically, ito yung ating final answer for this problem. Okay? Right, so punta na tayo sa ating sixth problem. So, problem number 6, we have dy over dx is equal to 2x plus 2xy squared over y plus 2x squared y. Okay? So, kung makikita natin, halo-halo yung ating x and y dito sa ating question. But actually, we can separate that just by factoring itong ating mga given dito. So, we will have dy over dx is equal to, we can factor out 2x dito sa ating numerator. So, I will have 2x times 1 plus y squared. Sa denominator naman natin, we can factor out y. So, I will have y 1 plus 2x squared. Okay, so ganun lang siya kadali, Now, what we're going to do is pagsama-samahin yung ating lahat ng merong y, isama na natin sa dy, at lahat ng merong x, isama na natin sa dx, okay? So, we will have, y dy over 1 plus y squared. And this will be equal to 2x dx over 1 plus 2x squared. Okay? So, as you can see, hindi na natin masyadong ini-elaborate kung paano natin to kinuha. We're just doing simple transposition, para mapabilis yung ating computation because we already assume that you already learned this when you are studying differential and integral calculus, So, now we're going to integrate itong ating mga terms na nandito, So, now we're going to solve for our integral. Okay? So the derivative of our 1 plus y squared in here, okay, so ano ba yung derivative ng ating denominator? Our denominator here is 1 plus y squared. So ang derivative niya is equal to 2y dy. Okay? But our numerator is only y dy. So therefore, I will need to introduce 2 over 2 sa ating terms para masatisfy natin itong requirement dito. So I will have 1/2 the integral of 2y dy over 1 plus y squared. And this is equal to, what's the derivative of our 2x squared? So the derivative of 1 plus 2x squared is equal to 4x dx. Okay? So as you can see, ang kailangan natin is 4x dx pero meron lang tayong 2x dx dito. So therefore, I still need to introduce 2 over 2. No? So I have 1/2. The integral of 2 times 2 will be 4x dx over 1 plus 2x squared. Okay, so now we can solve for the integral here. So I will have 1/2 ln 1 plus y squared is equal to 1/2 ln 1 plus 2x squared, and this is equal to c. Okay, so let me put this dito sa left side ng ating equation. Itong naandito sa right side, ano? I'm just going to transpose that dito sa left side ng equation. So I will have 1/2 ln 1 plus y squared minus 1/2 ln 1 plus 2x squared is equal to c. Alright, so the easiest way to solve this is to multiply itong buong equation natin by 2 para ma-eliminate natin yung ating denominator na 2. Okay, so I will have ln 1 plus y squared minus ln 1 plus 2x squared is equal to c1. Okay, where c1 is equal to 2c. Okay, so nag-introduce lang tayo ng bagong constant dito. Okay? Right, so now we know that we can simplify this, no, by using the properties ng logarithm. So I will have ln 1 plus y squared over 1 plus 2x squared, which is equal to c1. Right, so now another property ng logarithm, I will have e to the ln 1 plus y squared over 1 plus 2x squared is equal to e to the c1. Okay, so I will use c2 is equal to e to the c1. So therefore, we can cancel this out. Right, so ang maiwan sa atin will be 1 plus y squared over 1 plus 2x squared is equal to c2. Okay, so let me just simplify this. I will have 1 plus y squared is equal to c2 times 1 plus 2x squared. Okay, so we could already write this as our final answer. Okay, so this is our final answer to our problem number 5. Alright, so now let's go to problem number 7. Now let's say we have 2x times y plus 1 dx minus y dy is equal to 0. Now, meron tayong given at x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 0. Now, kapag meron sa ating given na ganito, ibig sabihin, we can solve for the particular solution. So, dahil isa-substitute lang natin itong value ng x and y, masosolve na natin yung value ng ating arbitrary constant. Okay, so particular solution yung makukuha natin on this type of problem. So, let me show you that. So, ang una natin gagawin, pagsasama-samahin natin yung mga x kasama yung dx at lahat ng y kasama yung dy. So, we will have here 2x dx, okay, minus y dy over y plus 1. Okay, and this is equal to 0. Okay, so what we can do next is to take the integral of our terms. Okay, so the integral of 2x dx will be 2x squared over 2. Okay, and we know that our 2 will be cancelled out. Okay, and then minus. So how are we going to take the derivative or the integral of y over y plus 1? Well, the easiest way to do this is to split this into 2 fractions. Okay, so there are different ways to do this. You can also use substitution, no? But on this case, I will split this into 2 fractions. So you can do that by doing this. Okay, following yung ating denominator. So, yung denominator natin is y plus 1 and we only have y in here. So, if I will do y plus 1 sa ating numerator, okay, in order to retain yung integrity or equality ng ating numerator, I need to subtract this by 1, okay? Because plus 1 minus 1 will be equal to 0. It's just the same. Y pa rin yung nasa numerator natin, ano? So, okay, so it's just the same. Nag-introduce lang tayo ng plus 1 minus 1, okay? So, in our denominator, I will have y plus 1. So, this will be dy. Okay? So, as you can see, I can actually separate this, okay? So, let me just label this para mas makita ninyo. I can separate this like this, ano? Okay? So, I will be separating that para masagutan natin siya. So, I will have x squared minus the integral of y plus 1 over y plus 1 dy. Then, negative times negative will be positive. So, I will have plus the integral of dy over y plus 1. Okay, so, I'm sorry, I forgot the equal to 0 in here. Okay, so, I hope naintindihan ninyo kung paano natin to ginawa, no? I just separated this into 2 fractions. Okay, but it will just be the same. Okay, so, this will be equal to 1 because this will be cancelled out. Okay, this will be cancelled out. So, ang may iwan sa atin dyan will be the integral of dy. So, I will have x squared minus the integral of dy will be y plus the integral of dy over y plus 1. The derivative of denominator y plus 1 is dy. So, therefore, this will be ln of y plus 1 and this will be equal to c. Right? So, basically, nasolve na natin yung ating differential equation. But, we still have an arbitrary constant here. And given sa atin yung value na x is equal to y, 1 I mean, and then y is equal to 0. So, at x is equal to 1, y is equal to 0. So, substitute lang natin yan dito. So, x is equal to 1. So, I will have 1 squared minus y is 0 plus ln y plus 1. Our y is 0 plus 1 is equal to c. Okay, so ln 0 plus 1 will be ln plus 1. So, ano ba yung ln plus 1? So, if we're going to use our calculator, you will know that our ln of 1 is actually equal to 0. Okay, so this is also equal to 0. So, therefore, our c is equal to 1 squared, which is equal to 1. Okay, so nakuha na natin yung value ng c. So, i-substitute lang natin yan dito, no, sa ating equation na nakikita ninyo dito. Substitute lang natin yung value ng c. So, we will have x squared minus y plus ln y plus 1 is equal to 1. So, that is our answer for this problem. Okay, so ganun lang ang pagkuha ng particular solution. Basically, isa-substitute lang natin itong value natin. So, let us try to solve again a problem na nandun sa elementary differential equation by Rainville, no? So, this is our 8th problem. So, in problem number 8, we have dr over dt is equal to negative 4rt, where at t is equal to 0, our r is equal to ro. So, hindi specific yung number na binigay sa atin, no, na value ng ating r. But it doesn't matter. So, pinapakita lang sa atin kung ano yung magiging value natin once we calculate our differential equation. So, pagsamahin natin yung r and dr. So, I will have dr over r is equal to negative 4t dt. Okay? So, now we're going to take the integral of all our terms in here. Okay, so the integral of dr over r is ln r. The integral of negative 4t dt is negative 4t squared over 2 plus our arbitrary constant c. Okay? So, negative 4 over 2 will be negative 2. So, I will have ln r is equal to negative 2t squared plus c. Okay, so at t is equal to 0, our r is equal to r. Oh, ayan yung given sa atin dito, ano? So, substitute lang natin. So, ln r, so our r is equal to ro, is equal to negative 2 times t is equal to 0 squared plus c. Okay? So, the value of our c is actually ln of r. Oh. Okay, so substitute natin yan dito sa nakuha natin kaninang equation, ano? Ito yung nakuha natin kanina. So, substitute lang natin yan dyan, yung ating value ngayon. So, I will have ln r is equal to negative 2t squared plus ln ro. Okay? So, let us use property of logarithm. We will raise this e to our equations here. So, you will have ln r, e to the ln r is equal to e to the negative 2t squared plus ln ro. Okay? Now, using the property of exponent, we will have e ln r is equal to e to the negative 2t squared times e to the ln ro. Okay? So, all of our e raised to ln will be cancelled like this one. Okay? So, basically, ang may iwan sa atin dito is r is equal to ro. Ito muna unahin natin dahil maka-cancel yung e to the ln. So, may iwan dito is ro, then e to the negative 2t squared. Okay, so this is our final answer in here. So, if you actually look yung elementary differential equation na sinulat ni Rainville, you can see that this problem already have an answer. Wala na solution, ano? So, you can see na pareho nitong nakuha natin yun dito. Okay, so now let's go to problem number 9. So, in problem number 9, we have 2y dx is equal to 3x dy. Okay, so again, and then at x is equal to 2, our y is equal to 1. So, dahil given uli yung x and y natin, we expect that we are going to have a particular solution in here, right? So, first things first, pagsasamahin natin yung x and dx and y dy. Okay, so I will have 2 dx over x is equal to 3 dy over y. Okay, and now we're going to take the integral ng ating mga terms. Okay, so I will have the integral of 2 dx over x will be 2 ln x, and this is equal to the integral of 3 dy over y will be 3 ln y, and this will be equal to, okay, so katulad nung ginawa natin nung una, no, I'm just going to use it again, although there are other ways to do it, and I will write this at ln c. Okay, and I'm going to use again yung ginawa natin sa ating problem number 1, since there are different ways to do this, but again, I'm going to use this. I'm going to write this as ln c. Okay, so katulad ng mga nakita nyo kanina, no, pwedeng hindi naman ganyan, but I'm just going to use this para mas simplify natin ngayon yung ating answer. So first, I'm going to transpose itong 3 ln y sa left side. So I will have 2 ln x minus 3 ln y is equal to ln c. Okay, so another property of logarithm, I will have ln x squared minus ln y cubed is equal to ln c. Okay, so now, okay, yung mga ginawa na natin kanina, no, I can still simplify this as ln x squared over y cubed. This is equal to ln c. Okay, so another property of logarithm, e to the ln x squared over y cubed is equal to e to the ln c. Okay, so we know that we can cancel this out. So, ang may iwan sa atin is x squared over y cubed is equal to c. Okay, so simplifying this further, we will have x squared is equal to c y cubed. But, hindi pa yan yung sagot because given sa atin yung value ng x and y. So, at x is equal to 2, y is equal to 1. So, at x is equal to 2, y is equal to 1. Substitute lang natin yan, no? I will have x is equal to 2. So, I will have 2 squared is equal to c. Then, y is equal to 1. I will have 1 cubed. So, therefore, our c is equal to 4. Okay? Or 2 squared, no? So, 2 squared naman siya nandito. Okay. So, let us substitute that dito sa nakuha nating equation na to. Okay? So, substitute lang natin yan diyan. Okay? So, I will have x squared is equal to c. Ang c natin is equal to 2 squared over y. And then, y cube, ano? So, bakit hindi ko pa ginawang 4? Kinuha kasi natin itong problem sa Rainville, ano? So, I'm just going to show you na what is the answer or what is the solution if we want to get yung answer na nakasulat doon sa book. Okay? Ito kasi yung nakasulat sa book, kaya kagayahin lang natin. So, I'm going to get the value of y, no? So, I'm going to isolate yung ating y sa isang side ng equation. So, I will have y cubed is equal to x squared over x squared. So, I can have y cubed is equal to x squared over 2 squared. Okay, so simplifying this further, I will have y is equal to x over 2 and 2 third. Okay, so sinimplify lang natin. That's our final answer. Ito kasi yung answer na makikita ninyo sa Rainville. So, of course, you can write this in a different way. Wala namang problema doon. So, you can already write this as x squared is equal to 4y cubed. It's not a problem. Okay, so, ginawa lang natin tong ganito kasi ito yung nakasulat sa book para maipakita ko sa inyo kung paano kinuha yung answer na nandun sa book ni Rainville, ano? Okay, so now we are on our last problem. And let's say we have here our last problem. Problem number 10. I have y e to the 2x dx is equal to 4 plus e to the 2x dy. Okay? So, again, pagsasama-samahin natin yung x kasama yung dx, and then yung y kasama yung dy. Okay, so dito sa left side, we already have e to the 2x dx, and then, itong 4 plus e to the 2x, we're going to transpose sa left side. So, I will have 4 plus e to the 2x. Okay? And this is equal to dy over y. Now, we are going to solve this by substitution. Yun ang mas madaling way para ma-solve ito, no? Okay, so, ang mas komplikadong nakikita natin is itong 4 plus e to the 2x, ano? So, I'm going to let our u to be equal to 4 plus e to the 2x. Okay, so I'm going to take the derivative. So, our du is equal to, derivative of 4 is 0. So, the derivative of e to the 2x is 2 e to the 2x dx. Okay? So, kung makikita natin, yung numerator natin dito is already e to the 2x dx. So, wala lang 2. Kulang pa rin tayo ng 2. So, we need to introduce multiplier, no? So, in order to satisfy that. So, we're going to take now the integral of our terms. And to do that, para masatisfy natin to, I will introduce a multiplier. So, 1/2 is 2 e to the 2x dx over 4 plus e to the 2x is equal to the integral of dy over y. Okay? So, now, masasagutan na natin siya. I have 1/2 ln 4 plus e to the 2x is equal to ln y plus c. Alright, we're going to simplify this, okay, by removing itong denominator na 2. So, we're going to multiply all of the equation by 2. Okay, so I will have ln 4 plus e to the 2x is equal to 2 ln y plus c1. Okay, where c1 is equal to 2c. Okay, so I don't need to explain that. Ginawa na natin yan kanina, no? Alright, so another property of logarithm, we have e to the ln 4 plus e to the 2x is equal to e to ln y plus c1. Okay, so property again ng logarithm, e to the ln 4 plus e to the 2x is equal to e to ln y times e to the c1. Okay, but you know, I'm going to simplify this further. I will remove these 2 in here using the property of logarithm. Then that will be an exponent ng ating y. So I will have ln y squared, no? Para madali yung ating computation. So we know that this can be removed and this can be removed. Okay, so I will have 4 plus e to the 2x is equal to y squared times c2, where c2 is equal to e to the c1. So I just introduce another arbitrary constant in here. Okay, so basically, yan na yung sagot natin. 4 plus e to the 2x is equal to c2y squared. Okay, so this is our final answer dito sa ating last problem for today. Alright, so I hope nakatulong itong ating lecture video para sa inyong pag-aaral for variable separable in differential equations. So these are the essential problems that we believe kapag na-master ninyo, you will be able to answer most of the problems in differential equation variable separable. Of course, there will be a lot of different ways pa rin na pwedeng ibigay sa exam. So practice is the key for mastering variable at separable. Okay, so in Engineers, we are offering more solved problems for differential equations, no? So we have courses for that. If you are interested, you can just contact us. So until sa next topic natin, that's all for now. Thank you very much and have a nice day. To watch more of our lecture videos about engineering and STEM subjects, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell para lagi kayong updated sa mga videos na i-upload namin. We are regularly uploading tutorial videos in engineering, mathematics, chemistry, physics, at iba pang subject na magagamit ninyo sa inyong pagre-review. So, thank you very much sa patuloy ninyong pagsuporta sa enginerds.org.